This was a game that just everybody looked comfortable in the batter's box. Everybody looked comfortable. Whether it was Kyle Schwarber leading things off with a 450-foot blast down the right field line that made it into the concourse at the cavernous Arizona Diamondbacks home ballpark, or it was, I don't know, Trea Turner or Bryson Stott with multi-hit games, and 8 players, by the way, coming up with multi-hit games for the Phillies last night. Everybody looked comfortable in the batter's box. And it might be easy to say that when you have a 20-hit performance in total, but when you look at a guy like Trea Turner, who has just flailed away and chased pitches well out of the zone time and time again throughout the season, and then you see him last night with how he was able to work a nice at-bat there in the, I want to say it was the 6th inning last night. He was just calm, cool, collected for pretty much every single at-bat that he was out there. I mean, you can look at it really in the 2nd inning when he got a second at-bat of the game, or a second plate appearance. It worked a 5-pitch walk that he was just calm on. He had, in his first 2 plate appearances, he worked 2 walks. The first one was on 4 pitches. The second was on 5 pitches. Just calm in the box the entire time. And then when you see him go out there much later in the ball game, in the 8th inning, for instance, he gets that infield single, that little chopper up the middle, if you will, that he's able to beat out at first. Just calm in the batter's box, not chasing anything out of the zone. That's what you saw for the first 2 months of Trea Turner's career as a Philadelphia Philly. And it was to the point where it made a lot of us nervous whether or not this was going to be the guy we're going to see for the duration of a 10-year deal at $300 million. No, thank you. I don't want to see that. I need to see a guy relax. I need to see a guy that looks like an all-star, looks like a guy that can patrol shortstop with great quickness and speed and a great glove. I need to see this guy not really go flying off the handle, not looking crazy, not missing line drives hit right at him, not missing fastballs out over the middle of the plate, not chasing sliders low and away, not chasing curveballs that are landing in the dirt 2 feet in front of him, like he did in the last time they faced this Arizona Diamondbacks team, but he also came up with that game-tying home run in the 9th inning, which was nice. But this is the version of Trea Turner that a lot of us have longed to see. Patient at bats, getting on base, stealing bases. You saw all of it last night with Trea Turner. The Phillies even threw out a double steal, not with Turner, but they threw out a double steal with Bryce Harper and JT Realmuto last night, which was a great sight for sore eyes. They've done that a couple of times this year, but most notably seeing this version of Trea Turner now, this is the guy that the Phillies, without question, signed. And seeing him be this comfortable is fantastic. You go through the lineup last night, and you see guys that were out there like JT Realmuto, I mentioned, was the last of them to get a hit. Bryson Stott had 3 hits for you last night. He was the only Philly with a 3-hit game. This is the team that you assembled. This is a team of mashers that Dave Dombrowski assembled, that John Middleton assembled, that at the time the Buck Cousins assembled. This was a team that was supposed to go out there and get you consistent offense. You have seen that for, 8 of their last 10 games? This is the offense that you have waited for all season long. And they're finally giving you what you expected them to give you. The most optimistic Phillies fan looked at this team before the season and said, well, even if they struggle pitching-wise, which they shouldn't because you got Zach Wheeler, you got Aaron Nola, Ranger Suarez will be back. You got Taijuan Walker to be your 4th starter. You should be set pitching-wise. With this lineup, you should do great things. That was my philosophy going into the season. And this was the game that you really saw it all come together. 15 runs, man, I'd love for that to be the status quo, but I just don't think that's that's kind of hard. Not for nothing there. But when it comes to what this team was able to do last night, I was just simply blown away.